And I'm going to try and take you back deep into the weeds of ecom a little bit, because I know you like to. You like to high level stuff.
Yeah, I just talk shit about loads of stuff, but yeah, I reckon put me in a room with a laptop, I can still scale solo.
You can. Well, there you go, scale solo. So you've obviously run up brands twice before, bootstrapped on your own.
Yeah, quite a few, but never for very long.
Well, that's
always like a year and a half.
Because you had dropship vibes. You were running them until they were rattling.
Well, yeah, Midnight City was, I guess, where we first worked together, right? Was it? Did you work on that? That's where I met Brad.
Yeah, Midnight City.
You put me in touch with Brad.
Yeah, and then Neon
Who did I meet first, Brad or you?
Me.
You then Brad, when you were both working with Danny Buck.
Yeah.
Back on Brand Builder days in like 2018, 19.
Long time. Yeah. We've known each other for a very long time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
At this point, it's nuts. But you've raised money for this one.
Yeah, too much.
Why?
Why to which question?
Why did you, not to too much, why did you raise money for this one?
Yeah, I probably have to be careful what I say about some things. I mean, I'll caveat even that caveat by saying there's nothing necessarily bad to say, but I do think, I've spoken about raising VC and raising money on my pod, probably not as much as I would find interesting to other people, just because when you got investors, you have to be respectful of not talking shit about them. Not that I even want to, but just by default speaking about something which then gets taken out of context and clipped. I think raising money has pros and cons, like a lot of things. I've learned a lot from it. I think raising money is like a 2-hour pod in itself, right? But it's the one I won't make because I just don't think it helps. It doesn't help me. It's too valuable, honestly. Like, it's been too painful to me to learn the hard way about certain things.
Yeah. And you've done the journey on both, right?
Yeah.
So like you have now the full picture. Because I think you always get, people have the grass is greener syndrome. You have the bootstrappers that are like, oh, it's fucking...
Yeah, and I'm very honest about all of it. Like, I think maybe much to my detriment. I mean, again, I think the honest answer is there's pros and cons. I mean, maybe you can ask specifically what you want to go into, but I think the one thing that raising money doesn't solve is the fundamental unit economics problem, right? A lot of people think, oh, if I only had, I've had people even say to me like, oh yeah, but like I would scale to that if I had 5 million quid. I'm like, go on then. So A, go and raise the money then, if it's that easy, because it's not. And B, and I've found this myself, even with having like a lot of money, whatever, a few million quid, whatever comes into the business, doesn't solve necessarily the core problems. It can accelerate finding out the problems in many ways because suddenly there's pressure to grow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nuance to that in itself. I think it's a super interesting topic. The founder of Grunz, actually, so Chad, which is the ultimate name for someone that scaled to 1.2 billion in 3 years.
Someone who scaled hard.
He's clearly a fucking
Chad Scaler.
Demon Chad Scaler in a good way. But he actually put on LinkedIn the other day, and I sometimes wonder, did they have a ghostwriter for this shit? Because it just, or is AI really well trained? Because it's come out so well. But he basically said, it was effectively, I'm going to botch the quote, but it was like, I don't know, 500 words on raising money, because he was calling out the fact that, and it's so true, all founders like debate like, oh, should I build a business that raises? Should I just bootstrap it? Is it a lifestyle business? And he said, at the end of the day, it's the same business in all of them.
Yeah.
As in like you're pursuing the same thing, which is good growth, strong team, strong margins,
it also
strong longevity.
Doesn't change product market fit, doesn't change product, doesn't change demand.
Yeah, exactly. And he's basically saying by that, like the business that is bootstrappable is also the one that most investors would like to be in because therefore the economics are good. It's the one that most buyers would want. With some nuance around, like if you're bootstrapping it, you tend to like have a smaller team and like maybe it's more founder aligned and so on. But it's not like, I don't know, you raise money and therefore it should be a different business, even though in my case, I think it has changed the shape of it, which maybe we can get into a bit.
Well,
but
we'll
like fundamentally, you're trying to build a business that's got good unit economics, good product, category leadership, whatever. So many different things, right? And I guess what's interesting about him, I don't know him, but I've just watched a lot of the podcasts. He was a VC.
Yeah.
So he was in all these big brands. And I think Grunz or Gruns, however you say it, looks to me like a textbook. Like if you could tick all the boxes of like, this is how you should scale a business to exit. He's probably done that because he learned it from experience. I would imagine.
He knows the outcome.
It just looks like he did everything almost perfectly.
Yeah.
And it must have done most things perfectly to get to that sort of outcome. So,
but I think VC money always changes the shape of a business.
Yes, it does.
Because people assume that when you get VC money, you must then become what I would say is like more professional, like office, immediately get more people because you got more money because you just raised. They want to put it into people. And those people don't always come out to be a net positive ROI. They always end up, from my experience of working with people that have raised, they always end up with these big teams that like maybe 6 months ago they just didn't have. But nothing changes in their key KPIs, their unit economics. and they end up just losing a little bit of the leverage that they had that got them to the point where people actually wanted to raise. And VCs look at these brands and are like, oh, perfect, tick, tick, tick of all the things that we would like to put money into. They then put money into it and then change everything that got them ticking everything that meant, oh, we'll definitely put money into it. Because I reckon most of them, if they would look at the post-VC money structure of a business and then they went, if that business came to them initially before raising, they probably won't put money into it. They'd be like, no.
I think there's a few things to unpack here, right?
Yeah.
I think, and I've learned a lot, but I knew nothing about raising money at all before I'd raised money. And I think I did a video on this on my own channel about a year ago.
Yeah.
Which probably maybe sound way smarter than I am, but a lot of this is also just me, speaking what I've learned from other people that are actually really smart, as well as my own experience.
Yeah.
But there's basically 3 ways to raise money. There's angel money, simple, they buy ordinary shares. It's usually smaller ticket, usually people you know, maybe it's another founder or whatever. Then there's sort of the middle ground, like a family office or whatever. Then there's, it's probably 4. Then there's like VCs, which is high risk, comes with a lot more complexity, board seat, preference stack, all this, much bigger money, typically $1 million plus, up to like 20 million. Then you got PE, like private equity, which is similar to VC, but later stage, more where a founder would take money out of the business, full exit or whatever, which is, what's things? Well, I guess actually there's 5. There's PE, which could be like, something example of PE fund, like Piper Private Equity, quite well known one in consumer. They wouldn't invest in like £1 million revenue business, but they might invest in a 15, 21 and take it to 100, right? Yeah. Like they did in Ancient and Brave, which is a Collinger brand. Yeah. Then you've got like strategic acquirers like Unilever. But that's different though. That's not raising money. That's like selling the business.
They're selling.
So the first 3 are really the most relevant to like startup brands. I've done kind of all 3, but mainly the angel money at the start, which is usually much lower valuation, call it £1 million valuation. You raise 200 grand, whatever, like get it off people, that sort of thing. That's like probably what I'd say to most people. If they want to start raising money, that's probably the only route they have anyway, because VCs won't come into a day one business unless you're like, it has happened, but typically won't.
Yeah.
That comes with no handcuffs because ordinary shares, you won't have a board seat usually, just buying shares, whatever. And I did that at the start, raised a few hundred grand. I kind of wish I hadn't done as much in hindsight, but at the time, whatever. VC money, and this is... I mean, I think I didn't get screwed, but like it's just normal. I didn't probably know what I was getting into fully. Not even necessarily in a bad way, but you just don't know what you're getting into because I'd never done it before.
And it was pre-Claude. So like...
It's pre-Claude, yeah. It's pre-Claude.
Everyone knows about everything now, but pre-Claude.
It was pre-Claude.
That's one of the key points, right? You just stumbled on it. There was 3 people in the team when you raised. I bet you did not have 3 people in your team 12 weeks later.
It took a while actually, but probably a year later, it was about 15 people in the team.
Right.
But the business was not 5 times bigger.
Well, this is my point.
Yeah.
This is my exact point.
And I think...
And for that, did CAC come down?
So this is where I think in hindsight, I've had and at the time, and again, I'm not saying I would have even done anything different. I'm just saying I've learned a lot of the nuances.
These are the lessons. You might have acted the same still, but these are lessons.
There's 2 ways to spend money when you raise it, at least in my experience. Some people might disagree, but there's basically, you double down on basically marketing and just like putting fuel on the fire of the machine that already exists. That's probably the best way to do it at the start. There's probably 3 ways. The other thing is like investing in like the actual product and like say you're a business like, I don't know, Tallow and Ash publicly raised like 7 million quid. Yeah. Great business.
Product being the biggest needle mover.
And they had loads of machinery they bought. Yeah. That was a part of it because they manufacture it in-house, etc. Yeah. So that's the sort of thing it has like capex. You need money to invest in that. Yep. I didn't have that sort of business. I probably could have gone down the rabbit hole of spending a lot more money and time making the product better, which in hindsight maybe would have been a better thing to do.
Without a doubt.
And then there's the other thing, which is like just structural costs, basically people. I do think that one is the lowest ROI, if I'm honest.
100%.
I don't mean you don't need people, but I do mean that you definitely don't get the same level. Like you could 5x the team. You very rarely, as a result, 5x the business.
No.
When you do it in a traditional way.
Yeah.
And that's partly because, especially these days, like ultimately, say you're running an ad account, to 5x the business, in theory, you just 5x spend, generally speaking, right? Especially below a certain threshold in revenue. It's a lot harder when you get older. And it's more like retention, all this.
Yeah.
But 5 times more people these days, at least hypothetically, generally speaking, like it just adds more complexity. Yeah. And more complexity means less clarity,
100%.
Less focus, and then actually probably worse results.
More opinions.
Yeah, definitely.
More opinions, which means you're not as flexible, you can't move as quick, and everything takes long. Now you go from 3 people, where things happen. You've got 3 people that are in charge of probably 3 separate things, and they make decisions immediately, and now those things happen immediately. To 15, and now there's people talking to people about things from other people that they need to decide on, and then all of a sudden things now take weeks to just decide versus act on. Yeah, and then you've got, and I don't
structure,
think they should. I don't
HR,
think this, I also don't. Unless
payroll.
you're like an enormous brand, I'm talking like 30 mil plus. I don't think a brand should ever have a person that manages a person.
I agree. I agree.
I actually don't. I don't know what they do because there's not enough. Like even down to, you know, if you've got full-time growth strategists, right? You shouldn't have a head of growth managing a growth. It should be a head of growth managing the account.
You want doers
and
in the team.
100%. People that are like hands-on doing. That's what all brands should have. And unless you're 30 mil plus and you've got, you know, expanding your products and designs, or your fashion and you need, you know, more designers coming in. It's like there is nuance to it, but I just don't think brands, which is a cash-intensive game and a, you know, small margin game, should have people that manage people, and those people often cost the most. The ones that manage the people.
Senior.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And a lot of money goes into that, and it doesn't net move the needle.
I'm not saying it was a disaster. I'm just saying like these are some of the learnings of like what inevitably happens. I've seen it a lot with the business as well. I think also the thing that a lot of people, and I just didn't understand the nuance of this as well. And again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does just come with the territory. Is a VC investor is looking for a VC return, which is hundreds of millions in terms of where your business needs to go. I don't mean every business that, like generally speaking, right? And anyone can fucking watch a YouTube video on this. Yeah. This isn't like inside knowledge or anything.
No.
But a fund might invest in 20 brands over the course of their fund, which might be a 4-year cycle, right? From a 100 million quid fund, to keep it simple. So in that case, they put 5 million quid into each. It's never that linear, but hypothetically, right?
Yeah.
Generally, one will be the big winner.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 or 3 will do all right, and the rest will either stay flat or go to 0, generally speaking, right?
Yeah.
So you need an outsized return from 1 or 2 of them to pay back the reality that most don't win. Obviously, by default, all of them you're going to shoot to get an outsized return, which means you need to get it to 50, 60, 70, 100 million revenue and try and sell it to a strategic. I guess like a good example of where that's really worked is a brand like Wild Cosmetics, right?
Yeah.
I think they were almost exactly 5 years old when they sold last year to Unilever for 230 million quid or something, which is like 3x revenue, which is a strategic crazy multiple, especially in this market. It's a good outcome. And they'd raised only, because it is relatively only for the outcome, 12 million quid or something, mainly from Jamjar, I think. And that's like, it just worked really well. Right place, right time.
Good product.
But then on the other end of the spectrum, there's brands like, I think this was public domain, but there was a very well-known vegan food brand.
Crazy.
Which is like...
How do they get...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the insides of that business, but...
the cash?
Well, 2021 valuations.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And there was a lot of those, right? Like Casper Mattress was one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably get the wrong examples, but there was a lot in the US especially.
Yeah.
That market's definitely changed.
Yeah, it's definitely changed. Cash was readily available in 2021.
But the other problem as well, and this is where I actually probably got it right, is I think I've got really good investors. They've got a really good track record, but they're also not delusional, which sounds... Because you do get investors that I would call like unicorn hunters. I've met them, and they're looking for like a £5 billion outcome. And it's like, well, that's great.
Yeah.
And usually as a result, they'll invest at a higher valuation. And founders always think, oh, the valuation, I want it to be as high as possible. The problem with the high valuation is you're then underwater for anything below that valuation, or like much. Because say someone comes in at, say your business is doing $1 million in revenue, just completely hypothetically. Someone invests at a 30 million valuation, like really high.
Yeah.
That's the founder thinks, great. Maybe you're only diluting by 5%, whatever, depending on how much is going in. But then your business isn't worth... A venture valuation is a venture valuation. It's a forward-looking valuation that works for the cap table and the mathematics of where it might end up. It's not a cash-out exit valuation. They're different things. So then your business has to actually become a business that's actually worth much more than that. So you kind of want to raise money at like a pretty reasonable valuation, i.e. like not crazy. Because even though it's more dilution, it's going to like put you in a stronger position to not be underwater from investor money, basically. And also because generally VCs will have preference shares. So if you go on Companies House, you can see in the UK, which I find still quite crazy, it's all like public information, right? Even like my business. You'll see like seed preferred or whatever. So let's just say I've raised 5 million quid, and it is about that amount for VC money. Just easy maths. Let's say I've raised 5 million quid at a £30 million valuation, call it. It's not exactly that, but and then the business sells for, say the business just doesn't work, right? And you have to sell it for 5 million quid.
Mm-hmm.
The VCs get the 5 million quid back first.
Yep.
You get nothing.
Yeah.
That's what preference share means, right?
Yeah.
Ordinary shares, you would split the pro rata percentage up.
Whatever the exit
So you got to sell for 30 million quid.
Yep.
Ideally more, but like just to be not underwater,
yeah.
right? Which is, and that's fine in like any scenario other than a downturn.
Yeah.
But that is what preference shares mean in simple terms. The other thing is a board seat and control ultimately. Like money and control are very different things. And
the pressure that comes with it, and this is what I was going to say, one of the most difficult things we found when working with brands that are VC backed is the pressure that
have you got a few of them?
Well, we've got a few, yeah. Or we've had a few in the past. We've got a couple that are on now. And one of the problems is, one of the most difficult things is the pressure that comes from them in regards to every month must be up and to the right. And often,
certainly every quarter.
Often, yeah, they want CAC to come down as revenue goes up. And it's like, you know, I've sat on calls with them before and been like, this is quite simply impossible. Like can you point to anything on our key KPIs, soft metrics, all the way through to our hard metrics, retention, LTV, CAC, where is it going to come from? Like what are we going to do? You can't just send a forecast over with revenue going up and CAC going down and have no foresight into the plan that's going to go into it, right? Are we going to double creative volume? Are we going to enter a new category to bring NCAC down because you're going into a new TAM, or to increase your TAM? Are we going to go into like what is it? Because they often just send, well, we need to do this based on our investment. This needs to become reality, and then they send it over. And then the founder starts flapping, and it's just like, we need to do this. This needs to become reality. And then you end up making so many bad decisions because of the weight that comes with it. And even down to what's going on in the ad account, and we need to do X and Y and Z, and changing what got you to the dance, because you're like, we can't do that because we've got to get this down. Like you can't take that. You got to get, and also the decisions slow down. So everything just becomes like a bit of a mess, right? And I think
I've seen a lot of it myself.
The weight of the pressure is, I think, where it comes from, because it's like you have founders that go from being like, you know, extremely confident in their own decision making and direction to they're fucked. Like mentally, they just question everything. As a top line, opinions do cloud judgment. They just do.
There's three things there, and I probably forget what the second two are because I spent too long on the first. Like, one thing is, I think a lot of VCs ultimately, a lot, not all of them, but a lot. And I'm not speaking about just my own investors. I've spoke to a lot of investors as well, obviously before Raise Money, whatever, and others. I'm just interested in the space.
And brands that you know.
Yeah, exactly. And I have heard some horror stories. I think one thing is most investors, I say investor, I mean the people in the team that will be on your board or whatever, have never run businesses. That's just a fact.
And also, an e-com business is wildly different to a business.
Have never been in a consumer brand actively.
Yeah.
And I think
wildly different.
Yes, having seen successes is a useful view, but it's not the same as being in the weeds in that specific business at that time in that market. I also think referencing businesses from 10 years ago that did well is borderline delusional now, because especially with AI, the market's changed, the economy changed. So, like...
everything's changed. Even the technical...
there's that, and they're very much not in your business.
No.
So it's so easy to sit and send an email and say, to your point, drop CAC this month, obviously. No shit.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that.
I've kept it in the drawer, waiting for this email. Now you've
Let's
sent
just
it.
drop CAC and increase revenue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why has nobody done that?
Like, if it's that easy, you're welcome to come in.
But that's
and run
because
growth.
they don't know the technicalities of e-com. They don't understand like
everything is easy on a spreadsheet. It's much harder in real life.
Spreadsheet drive me mad.
When you have bankers, which a lot of investors are, their life is through a spreadsheet.
Yeah, and they don't understand how auctions work, and the fact that 90% of most of these businesses are getting their sales through paid, right? And it's like, when you understand the nuances of how paid works, what you've just sent over does not happen. It doesn't happen.
So it is an interesting predicament. I think the other thing there is, it's kind of a second point to that one, is a lot of investors, and again, I'm generalizing, and there are really good things as well, but a negative is a lot of them come from more traditional backgrounds, such as banking, such as legal, whatever, which by default have higher headcount. They have slower processes, more traditional and less contrarian, I guess. Yeah. And that, it kind of all goes hand in hand. Then the other thing is, and I've realised this massively, I almost feel like I should put half the shit behind a paywall because it cost me so much to learn. It's like maybe really obvious. And in a way, it's actually kind of stuff that I already knew, but then you sort of go through the
It's been
process of
confirmed.
learning it. It's like, I'm just back to what I thought at the
Yeah,
start.
it's
Maybe
been
that's because I'm
confirmed.
like severely autistic, Chad scale founder at my core, as most founders are. And then it doesn't really go very well with like conventional ways of doing
As
things.
all mega brands are.
Yeah. But you can't pour more money onto a business, an economic machine, which is what a business is, and just expect that more money is going to fix the problems. And to your point around pressure, that's very true. Like when you raise money, especially in the early stages, you're probably expected to triple next year, if not 5x, like generally speaking, right? It's your early stage. And you can normally achieve that by just throwing more money at ads.
Yeah.
But almost always what happens, as anyone knows that's actually in the space, the more you spend on money, the more you spend on ads, the less efficient it gets, just generally speaking. That's just...
It's because you go into another tier of spend, and every tier of spend you
And then
break through
at what
comes with a different
point
CAC.
are you willing to say, like we're not quite ready to 5x our spend or 4x our spend?
Yeah.
Even though we need to hit these revenue numbers, but our retention not quite good enough yet. CAC's creeping, so we're kind of buying revenue a little bit here.
Yeah.
And that's the trap you can easily fall into. And it's because of the pressure.
It is.
And it's because also, often, you have hired a lot of people, that you now have a bigger cost base, that you now have more complexity. So then we need to be a bigger business now. And actually, if you look at the reality of usually your retention profile, which is the most important thing generally,
Yep.
especially in subscription, but even non-subscription businesses, still LTV is the game these days. If you
Yeah.
look at the reality of that, normally that's why you're struggling to spend more. It's the same with any business. It's just more pressing in a venture-backed one usually because your expectations and almost like requirements to get much bigger sooner exist. Whereas if you're bootstrap, you say, who cares if we grow 30% this year? We'll just make it more profitable. We'll fix the product, whatever.
100%.
There's no rush.
There's no rush.
And then we could rush when it's really working rather than rush when it's working, but
Yeah.
it's probably not as efficient as it needs to be. And,
Yeah.
and that's the trap that I definitely got into for about a year.
Everyone who gets VC money
But
gets
it's
into
because
that
of
trap.
everything I just said.
Yeah, it's because
And
of the way
it's
that
so
comes
obvious in hindsight.
Yeah, and the money doesn't solve a unit economics problem, right? Sometimes actually the work that needs to be done is a really unsexy operational work.
And the category reality as well.
Well, yeah, that's that
Because that
can,
has a
right?
macro cap oftentimes.
100%. But when you're looking at the operational side of things, right? Like gold standard fixed cost for econ brand is like 10%. Yeah.
Even lower at scale these days.
If you can keep
But I
it
agree.
around there. Yeah, we've got a brand that's been with us for like 4 years that'll do probably 28 million this year. Yeah. They've got 2 team members outside of the 3 founders. Yeah. 2 team members. 2 girls that all they do is content and socials, email, and they do partnership ads. They just get us partnership ads for fun. Yeah.
Do what?
They get us partnership ads.
Oh, partnership
so
ads, okay.
Yeah. So creators that come on. So and they get them on retainer, and they're super good at it. And they outgrow most of our brands every year. And what they do is they just stay super lean, and they look for leverage everywhere in their OpEx. Like they were paying a lot for manufacturing, they brought it in house.
Yeah.
They renegotiate with 3PLs and suppliers, and they go and see everyone all the time. And all they're trying to do always is chip away at their OpEx so they can afford a higher CAC, so they can grow next year. All they ever do is spend all year looking everywhere they can in their business at everything to try and afford a higher CAC, because as sure as death and taxes, CPMs will go up and it will get harder next year. Yeah. And that's what a lot of brands have, even bootstrapped, VC, all of them this year have struggled with, is there's been a decent sized leap in
It's basically
CPMs.
who can spend the most on CAC wins.
100%. And you also get to a point where you end up with, there's a term I see on Twitter of like natural CAC, which is like Jordan
I
Miller.
agree.
And it's true.
It is true.
It's absolutely true. And you're at a point where it's not going to come down. And if you want to go further, it's
And then
going
you
to
got to
go up.
build at the other end of the candle, so to speak, which is retention.
100,
And
yeah,
LTV.
I mean, retention,
which is way harder to move than people think.
way hard to move, and people, it's not sexy, so people don't work
But
on it
it's
as
the
much.
actual name of the game, and
Yeah.
it gets way harder at scale.
CAC to LTV.
Yeah.
What is yours?
Well, you can, but
That's for
we've
new
gone down a
products.
slippery slope of trying to do that by...
I think that comes with new product.
Yeah, it does, and we got all that wrong last year, but...
Yeah. That's the only way you can
You're
dramatically
better
drop
off. I almost like would rather like you aim to have a higher CAC because it means your retention is so much better that it allows that CAC to work. Like I don't mean literally aim for a higher CAC. I just mean so our CAC is X now. Okay, I could drop it by 20%. I'm not really sure how because we've done a lot of things.
Yeah.
But like I'd rather just improve retention by 20% and find more scale there.
Yeah.
But again, that's really fucking hard. But also that's what a good business needs.
Yeah. And they're all the right thing to spend your time on. But instead, people look at, hook rates and click-through rate and the first 3 seconds of the video, and if we just focus all our time on X, Y, and Z of this creative it won't. When you're at the point that you're at and you've got 1,000 ads live, just throw them in.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, trying to iron out one ad out of that and being like, this. If we just continue to do this, and then you'll get it, you'll do something similar, and nothing happens, right? The game is creative diversity at volume, and then just load it in. Just make sure that you're covered on problem aware, problem unaware, all the different shapes and sizes of formats and different creators, and look visually different creators as well as what they're trying to sell, and different TAMs and different angles, right? Which is where all the game is, and you should be doing that all the time. But it gets to a point where actually that just keeps you at a baseline CAC. It's not, you might, come across an outlier ad, and you put it in, it's like boom. But nothing about all the time you spent looking at your creative will be why that ad goes in there.
Yeah.
It won't be. But they have teams upon teams that spend hours upon hours looking at this, and nothing happens.
Yeah, I'm actually not a mega fan of internal creative teams.
No,
kind of gone full circle on this.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of the biggest scalers I know have like 10 agencies on retainer.
Do you know why that is?
Well, I think it's primarily for variety, but also competition.
It's without a doubt diversity. There is nothing
Because
more
if you're an internal
diverse.
team, they're getting paid regardless for a start.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the problem with ROI heavy roles like creative strategists, as in like you need an ROI.
Yeah.
If you've got an employee, they're getting paid regardless. I'm not saying you shouldn't have any employees in creative. I'm just saying I'm a big believer now in, just have multiple agencies.
Definitely. It's because nothing's more diverse than different people doing it.
Yeah,
Because each agency
teams
will have a way, and each team will have a way, and each person has a way. So having 5, 6, 7 creative agencies and recycle them. We have some brands that come to us on cycle where they'll just go between us and another one or something like that, and then they'll come back, and then they'll be like, oh, we're launching a thing, we need you guys for this, and then they openly cycle them, and it makes so much sense. So much sense. But it's not, and I think it makes so much sense, and ultimately you always need to do it. But like looking into, like we had Sam Benning on, we spoke about this yesterday.
Much bigger scaler than me.
Well, 100 million a year brand, looking to go further, bootstrapped. He heads up growth. He puts 400 video variants a week into his ad account, and told me he never looks at a soft metric. Like they don't look at
but it's just CAC, innit?
He looks at NCAC. Yeah. What's it cost us to acquire a customer? What he doesn't do is be like, I'm going to launch these 400 ads and I'm going to go searching for what each one of them's done. He launches them in and he moves on.
Yeah, I used to have this weird thing where people were like, "Oh, what's the conversion rate?" I was like, to me, it's also a soft metric.
Yeah.
Like I used to sell neon signs at £400 a pop. The conversion rate was 0.2%, but it still worked.
because the AOV worked.
Exactly. So
100%.
and it was 0.2% because the thing that worked on ads was just running really broad top of funnel. So therefore, the quality was the traffic was low quality and so on.
Perfect product top of funnel.
Yeah,
because like,
I wonder if that would work again now. Maybe
bring it back. Where do you stand on creative volume versus you see this argument online all the time of like creative volume versus?
I feel like I'm less close to that now than I used to be because it's always higher agencies. Creative volume versus diversity and quality.
No, just versus quality. You see there's this weird chatter which I think's BS of volume versus quality.
Yeah.
If you have too much volume,
the one thing I will say is the one thing I always see in the bigger scalers is definitely volume first. Like you literally go in the ad account of any big brand, it's 1,000 plus ads, if not more.
Minimum.
Sometimes 2,000-3,000 for the US ones. Yeah, active.
So can you imagine how many they've been through?
So we know for a fact it's volume. I guess they're all going to be decent quality. I'd probably say it's both, but I'd say volume first, right?
But I don't see why.
Depends how you define quality, though.
I don't see why you can't have both. I don't see why it's a trade-off. People talk like if it's volume, it must be crap. It's like no.
Yeah, they probably just mean is it like super high prod or this shit versus not. But generally, that stuff doesn't work that well anyway.
No,
maybe this is the highest prod you'd get, like a podcast.
Well, nobody knows what works. I think this is the thing. I think if you went and got all of Space Goods ads from now since the time that it started,
we're running some pretty weird shit right now.
And you looked at all the outliers that have really moved the needle. Yeah. There's probably no congruency to what they are. And
a lot of them would be Brad in 2022.
Yeah, Brad Sharp.
Some I think founder ads for me recently, but
you had a good founder ad once. But then you
the
had
one in the black t-shirt on the chair.
Yeah.
I used to get people saying he looks like he's stoned. How is this a focus product? You've got to be accepting of online abuse to run founder ads from your page as well.
I think
whitelisted.
If you go anywhere online, like you have to accept
anymore.
You have to accept some kind of abuse. What does your NCAC to AOV look like?
CAC's higher than AOV.
Really?
Yeah. Which I reckon is true of all subscription supplement brands, by the way.
I reckon it's true to...
most.
I think of the ones of your size, so we're talking actually relevant, then definitely. But I think there's the 0 to 10, it shouldn't be higher.
Well, it completely depends. I think, again, I say that's an irrelevant soft metric. It's just LTV to CAC, isn't it?
Do you reckon?
Payback's relevant, which is where VC money comes
surely
in.
Surely if your NCAC's lower and the LTV is the same as someone whose NCAC's higher in the
same
category,
obviously that's better.
Yeah,
but like
100%.
I think it's like, what I mean by that is you get... a lot of investors will say, oh, but like, I don't know, this dog food brand has 60% month 12 retention.
Yeah,
like, well,
it's a dog
but
food,
it has 20% gross margin.
Yeah.
So it's not apples to apples.
No,
is
so
it?
it's
It's also a dog.
No.
And the CAC is 200 quid. So what I mean by that is like retention itself is only one of three important metrics, which is retention, CAC, and gross margin, which nets out to LTV to CAC. That's the only thing that matters, really.
Yeah.
Retention itself is directionally important, yes, because if you have shit retention, you haven't got much of a brand.
No.
But similarly, you might have great retention because your pricing's too low and therefore you've got no fucking margin.
Yeah.
And you might also have really high CAC, which is also a challenge, right? So that's why LTV to CAC, and I mean margin to CAC. A lot of people think LTV is revenue. That's one way of looking at it, but I call that LTR, lifetime revenue. Lifetime value to CAC is the most relevant thing, which is your gross margin per customer relative to CAC.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to move, but it moves with a combination of those three things, right? Drop your CAC, improve your margin, improve your retention.
What do you see on... I think a lot of subscription brands miss the mark on, and this is going to sound really weird, but like being obsessed over subscriptions, because sometimes on that first buyer, when they're super piping hot, if you can get them to buy 3 months or 6 months up front, that's often better than their LTV if they get them to subscribe.
Yeah, we do a lot of quarterly now.
Yeah, but they don't, but people, I think people
don't
overlook
do enough
it.
6 months. In fact, we don't do that right now. I think we tested it.
You should.
Yeah, even 12 months.
And I see good brand. I mean, we spoke about it yesterday, Mars Men. The upsell on Mars Men, right? You first of all, they do try and push you to a 3-month first order, which is great. But you can subscribe for 1 month. But as soon as you go to the next page, they give you a nice discount
after checkout.
After checkout to get 3. You should do it. You should do it as a test.
Are they using what's it called? Checkout Champ.
Checkout.
You heard of that?
I don't. No, I've not heard of that.
I've heard of it from a few like mega scalers, and I'm like, why is no one talking about this?
Yeah.
Just post-purchase upselling.
So they try and push people to get 3 to 6 months on that first order because they know people are piping hot.
Yeah, we should do more of that.
Because often it's not as sexy, but it will outrun their LTV of a brand.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. Especially if
and that's partly because they haven't tried the product yet.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, and not even that, like, because that implies the product's bad, but like, even if the product's really good, there's still always a reason to churn. Like, oh, I didn't use it, I was traveling, or I got distracted.
Yeah, but it's the commitment from the person.
Exactly.
Like, they could have something financial come up, and the first thing they're going to get rid of is supplements that, ultimately they don't.
You don't need it.
Don't need it. You want it.
In the same way you would need, like,
it might improve your quality of life, but you don't.
Medication or something.
Yeah, they don't survive on it. So as soon as they have a downturn in whatever, or it's mid-month or whatever, they'll be like, no. But if you've already realised the cash from them up front, and you get the cash immediately, you don't have to wait 3 months. So if you could sell immediately a 3-month
supply.
supply,
also shortens your payback, right? So you can just put more into CAC, and
because your cash conversion cycle is way better on
it.
Yeah, way better.
That's the other thing that less people talk about on just the whole LTV to CAC and retention thing is payback is also super relevant. So that's how quick you recover the cost of CAC.
Yeah, cash conversion cycle.
But like the lower that is, the more you can scale.
Yeah, 100%.
In simple terms, regardless of what your LTV to CAC is. You have great LTV to CAC, but if your payback's 12 months, which by the way a lot of pet food brands are, or like it's larger because the CAC's are high and the margin's low, but the long tail retention is huge. That business has to raise VC.
Yeah.
It's literally impossible to scale it otherwise.
Yeah.
Which is why businesses like Untamed, who came on my pod, Butternut Box, which is probably the biggest one in Europe now, dog food, all raised a shitload of money.
Yeah, to try and outrun it.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of subscription brands need to look at that. Like, they focus so much on getting that first order or that person to subscribe. I think they need to give more energy or run more tests. Like, have your campaign that's for subscriptions, fine. Have another campaign that's like consistently trying to work on how many people I can get to buy 3 up front, or 5 up front, 6 up front, whatever it may look like, depending on the products. Like, definitely be putting money towards that, even at a small budget, because if you find something that works, like the realization of the cash is so much better than consistently just looking for that one subscription. And especially if you're a subscription brand that does, a first order, discount on even the subscription discount, which quite a lot of them do. Like, you're just giving away margin for the hope that one of those makes it towards 2 and 3, but they don't always do it.
Yeah.
It also gives you a bit of leverage when you get to Q4 as well, because like, what does subscription brands do in Q4?
Might have to launch a 12-month upfront offer now.
Well, why not?
60% off.
But here's the thing, like, why not?
I'm going to launch that today.
You get small budget, and you will have a subscription campaign, a 3-month, a 6-month, a 12-month. Why not give a proportion of your creative volume to that every week? Small budget, because if you unlock it, it's massive for the business. It's huge, cash up front, done.
For sure.
AOV is big. You don't have to worry about the retention because you've got it, you know. And some of them who will commit to it because they put more money in it, there's more intent for you. If I give you £20, yeah, you know, it's not a big outlay, right? If I go and commit £120, there's a good chance I commit to the product because I'm like, I've just spent £120 on this.
Yeah,
like,
psychologically.
I'm going to do it. And then they might become better buyers for you like down the line anyway. You're going to launch it?
I'm just thinking, taking my granola notes here. I'm trying to think why. I've definitely spoke about this a million times with the team. I don't know why we haven't done it. It's probably people saying, "Oh, that no one will take that." We should definitely try that.
You should definitely try it.
We've done 6 months before. I think we've also tried 12, but it's not currently on our PDP.
Yeah, and like with any test, don't just put it in. To put 20 static ads in and then just be like, this doesn't work. It's like that's not a test. That's just you putting something live on your site, doing some half-assed static ads, and then completely writing it off as a bundle offer. It's like you have to give it the same effort you give everything else. Just iron out 10% of your creative volume that goes towards it every week and see if you can unlock it.
Yeah.
Which is what you need to do. Did you launch TikTok Shop?
Like 2 years ago, relaunch it now.
You're relaunching it?
I don't know much about TikTok Shop. It's always felt foreign to me.
TikTok Shop?
For two main reasons. We did it for like a week, literally in 2024. And then sacked it. I think at the time they didn't do subscriptions, and I thought it was a race to the bottom on price. And I was like, just didn't feel like it made sense for like a largely single SKU brand at the time.
I feel like it's had a glow up.
Yeah. I feel
like
very naive with TikTok Shop. I should probably spend the weekend looking at fucking YouTube videos explaining it all.
It's
or just get Claude to explain it to me.
Yeah, get Claude to explain it.
Which would be easier in many ways.
The thing is with Claude though, it tends to just pull from like shitty online articles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The amount of clients we have now sending us what we should do in an ad account based off of Claude. Yeah.
Do you know what I do sometimes?
Mental.
I ask Claude and ChatGPT the same question just to see how similar they are. It's almost always the exact same shit, just written in different ways. Because they obviously have the same models that are feeding them probably in the background.
But notoriously, it's terrible, outdated advice when it comes to the stuff that we do. It'll tell you to turn off your high CPA ads, for example. It'll tell you need a retargeting campaign. You've got no TOF.
It lacks human nuance.
It lacks context, nuance, and like the thing is, with our industry, it moves so quickly. It won't have that available information, and it also doesn't know the right way. There's a million ways people tell you to do it. Most of them are wrong. It doesn't know the difference. It just knows what's online and goes with the most popular one.
Yeah, I always think every fucking business is different, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's like blended general advice is a good starting point, but at the end of the day, that's why like if someone doesn't know their shit, they'll just regurgitate the textbook, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Similar to like, I don't know, an investor that says, surely do this. Having never done it before.
So TikTok Shop, relaunching. What's the plan?
I believe we relaunch it like next month, yeah.
Yeah? Are you going to do anything exclusive for it?
I think the plan now is, because we're in retail, it's basically going to mirror almost what retail does or somewhere in between. Because the challenge is now, we've already got 3 channels, right? D2C, main one, and then Amazon and retail. And retail's now overtaking Amazon, which is good. But then, well, retail has always been different SKUs. Well, hasn't always been different SKUs. It has the pouches, which has always been the main thing I'm holding about.
Yeah.
But then now we've got the 7-day box and the RTD, which I should have had here on. Let's pretend we're holding
it.
We'll
put AI them in.
Yeah, would have had here.
We'll blow them in.
Which is new for retail.
Yeah.
I think TikTok Shop, we're going to just do what's in retail, maybe with some shit that's from D2C.
At what price?
Well, this is the thing. Like, it needs to be a lower price point. I mean, we never really tried it with the 40 quid pouch of powder before, partly because it wasn't a subscription. But like I said, the reason we kind of pulled it after a week was because the price at the time didn't seem to make sense. So either you could put, I don't know, certain flavors on there, maybe use it as a clearance channel, maybe use it as just get people to 7-day trial pack.
What you need to
basically
do
now we have cheaper SKUs that work in retail. You can also do that on TikTok Shop.
Yeah.
Instead of just discounting the fuck out of the brand.
Are they going to have what you
set
on TikTok Shop? Are you going to have on .com? Are you going to have what's on .com available on TikTok Shop but for cheaper?
No, I don't think so. That's one way to do it, and that's originally what we would have done 2 years ago.
That's what most people do. I think it's a bad idea.
Yeah, exactly, because then it just basically cannibalizes what's on D2C.
Yeah.
I also think I'm questioning if Amazon even has a place, to be honest.
Why?
Especially because we're a subscription first brand now. I mean, Amazon is a convenience channel in fairness, but I'd be interested to run a test of turning Amazon off just for like 2 months or 3 months and see what happens to D2C.
What is the percentage of D2C retail Amazon as sales channels?
Oh, it's still mainly...
Why would you turn Amazon off then? Are you running any ads on it?
Small amount, like defensive ads, right?
Yeah, so why would you turn it off?
We've done the whole bullshit DSP stuff in the past. That, you know, top of funnel Amazon. I've always said it was a scam. An agency pushed us to do it, and I proved that it was a scam. I.e., like you spend 10 grand a month, doesn't do anything.
No, because like, all your demand's coming from Meta.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazon
ads is basically Meta.
100%.
We run obviously like brand protection, like brand keywords.
It's a demand capture platform, right?
So it's not scale
you need
platform
to understand,
in itself.
You've got demand gen, you've got demand capture, but people often make this mistake, and it's so easy to make, and I get it, but you turn Amazon on, and your .com gets worse, and your ad account gets worse.
Yeah.
Everyone forgets you've just turned Amazon on.
So the reason I want to try turning it off is
problem.
just basically try and answer like how much is it impacting D2C?
Yeah.
Because I think a D2C customer is worth more than an Amazon customer to us because you own them and it's subscription. And I think the thing with Amazon, you also, every time someone lands on it from your ad, they're looking at competitors that are right beside it and cheaper. Yeah. So it's kind of like, that's just the nature of a marketplace.
Yeah.
But
are they doing that anyway though?
Yeah, they for sure are. It's just like, I haven't run the test for 3 years of what happens if we turn Amazon off. Does CAC go down £5 and therefore we can spend more?
Yeah, you basically want to understand whether there's a proportion of Amazon
buyers. Is it relatively better?
Yeah, that wouldn't buy .com, that only buy on Amazon. Yeah. And ultimately, you can only run that test with either a incrementality study or the world's best incrementality study turning it off.
Exactly.
Right, but then you could starve the brand. And I mean, at the volume you're doing, you could run that test in like 14 days.
Yeah, probably. Which I think is partly because the offer's better D2C. You get starter kit, subscription.
Well, that's good.
And also just competition on Amazon more and more.
Could you not?
There's other like decent brands, but there's also just like, you know, the sort of, I don't know, Chinese brands.
Sometimes
it's £9.
It's a bit of and this is, you know, our experience with TikTok Shop sometimes is it can be a bit of a race to the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't like it before. No subscription. It just feels like a discount channel. And a lot of the brands that do big volume on there, at least the SKU that's doing big volume, is usually sub £20.
Yeah. And for Amazon, could you not just run it as like a bundle platform then or something?
Yeah, I was thinking about doing this, which is the other way to go, is to make it just more unique and just do it bulk buy basically. So it becomes a convenience, like discounted bulk buy channel. Yeah. Which to be fair, again, I should probably do that.
Yeah, your version of Costco.
Yeah, exactly. Like even old stock. Like if you look at Athletic Greens, who had I think they've come under fire now for launching this gummy, or at least like Grant seemed to hate them for it. But they launched the next gen Athletic Greens. We're doing something similar in a few months, which we're going to have a similar strategy on Amazon. You just keep the old stock on Amazon. Yeah. I think they still only sell, from what I could find at least, their original like non-next gen AG1 on Amazon, whereas the website has the next gen, the new version, and their pro versions. The latest stuff's on the website, and then Amazon becomes like not necessarily clearance, but just older stuff, bulk buy. You need to just convenience.
Cannibalize D2C.com.
Right? Exactly.
Because it's
retail does that as well though, and that's a harder one to control because it's retailers deciding what prices stuff are. Yeah. And they also run ads. Yeah. So I reckon that's a harder one to test, but I actually reckon in hindsight we did retail too soon.
Really?
Because it adds a lot of complexity as well. To the point around complexity, it's another channel.
It is another channel.
It's still tiny relative to D2C. However, it's definitely higher barrier to entry, and you need it long term if you want to be like. Well, I think if you want to be an acquirable brand, you almost definitely need it. Everyone says that these days, and it is true.
And I know a lot of subscription brands go into retail to save the D2C, right? It's like it's a more profitable channel for them. The D2C is, and it covers it up. You have one P&L, it's one business. And ultimately,
it's a lot more profitable for us as well, in isolation though. Because if you turned off D2C or D2C never existed, retail wouldn't exist anyway. Because the only reason we got in the first place was D2C presence. Yeah. And then the only reason it did well.
There are some brands that are only retail though, so you can go deep into it.
I would hate to be an only retail brand. Jeez, it takes like a year to get a listing. Yeah. It's just so slow. I'd be like old and retired by the time I've done everything I wanted to do.
Everything's slow. But I think you shouldn't cannibalize.com because ultimately that's where you own it. But I would just think that now TikTok Shop, you can do the subscription, so it makes more sense. But like with Amazon, I would just try and have it as a bulk buy so that you own the subscribers and the best deal is on .com where you own them and you get the margin. Right?
Yeah, I think basically you want to have different not necessarily different SKUs, but different offers on different channels.
That's exactly what you need to do.
And in retail, actually different SKUs.
And some of
like the RTD.
Some of the brands that are killing it on TikTok Shop do exclusive products for TikTok Shop so that they don't cannibalize .com again.
Yeah.
Right?
Like a 7-day pack's perfect for us for that.
Yeah.
£9 price point. That's also in Tesco now. But that's the sort of thing that could work well on TikTok and in retail.
Yeah. And I think that's what ultimately what you need to do. And people need to understand as well, as you open up these new silos, right? Don't think that your ad account and your .com's broken. You're going to have leakage.
It's got to look blended.
Yeah, 100%. Every time you add a channel, Amazon, TikTok Shop, retail, understand that .com's going to get worse. And because of that, your ad account's going to get worse. But it's not actually worse. They've just leaked. They're going over here,
in isolation,
here, and here.
It looks worse. Yeah.
In isolation, it looks worse. But what happens is they launch them and they think that these things are separate. They're like, there's no way my meta ads are going to TikTok Shop and Amazon. It's like, that's exactly where they're going.
Yeah.
If you think these people that see your Instagram ads are not scrolling TikTok every day, you're mental, right? And the same stuff, so they're in the same algorithms, looking at the same shit that ultimately is relevant to the brand, so they're going to come across space goods. And they end up trying to fix the .com and the ad account problem when ultimately, if you look at it as a blended, your numbers are almost the same, you just get more volume.
Yeah.
But they try and fix a problem that just doesn't exist. And they email me about it, being like, what's going on with the ads?
The other thing I sometimes think, though, is like, is there benefit? What could we have scaled more if we were just D2C with one product the whole time? Like that extreme focus.
Extreme.
There's always arguments either way, and you never know unless you did it. So it's kind of an insolvable question. Yeah. But I do wonder it.
Like, obviously, creative volume. They do have a big in-house team now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Well, I say big. I say big. It's actually not that big. But they just hire. Sam's a super operator and they hire killers. So like he's very good at hiring. There's a whole nother point. Like most founders are not good at hiring.
I've made a lot of mistakes.
They're not good at hiring. They're like, I'm going to get rid of this agency. It's doing well because it's cheaper to hire in-house, and they hire someone that's just ultimately bad.
Yeah.
Like, and this person knows more than what the founder does about media buying, but actually it's not good knowledge, and they have to change ultimately what they come into because that's the point. And then anyway, but that's a whole other thing. But he focuses on that margin, products innovation. They do a lot of deals with vets, but vets specifically, well, not deals with vets. They've got a lot of vets on board, but it's just that
team in the US.
It is now. Yeah, they were remote,
and now it's all in the US.
Now it's US and UK.
Where in the US? Miami or something?
I don't know. They've got an office in London. Oh, Miami's class.
Didn't you live there for a while?
Yeah, 2 years.
Why did you come back?
A few reasons, really. Mostly personal. Mostly personal, to be honest.
Girlfriend didn't like it. Well, wife didn't like it.
Wife didn't like it.
Was she a wife at the time? I don't know.
I moved there because of COVID.
Yeah.
So it was lockdown, and
right, feels a long time ago.
Well, that's because people come and they go to the Palm.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's pretentious. It's
pretentious.
It's expensive. It's like
this,
it's crazy money. But you can go and move to the communities and stuff where we live, and it's completely the opposite. And actually, you drink way less here because it's just not everywhere.
Where do you live now?
Dubai Hills.
Have you been there a year already?
I was there.
And then you come. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you come back in Jan.
Yeah. So I was in
I need
Dubai.
to decide where I'm living in 5 weeks. I don't know yet.
You don't know yet?
Too many options.
Well, let me ask you, do you ever turn ads off in your ad account?
Well, I haven't touched an ad account myself in about 2 years. No. I'm actually a big believer in agencies for ad accounts.
Yeah.
Which you'll probably like me saying. But
yeah.
I honestly I think it's one of those...
You're buying data.
Yeah, I think it's one of those roles as well where, like, without sounding too cunty, it's like someone's a really good media buyer. Why they don't want to get a 9-to-5 job for you?
No.
They probably would be better off starting an agency, and then at least that person has oversight of the team that might run it eventually.
Yeah.
Or being part of an agency to get more exposure to multiple ad accounts. 100%. I also don't think it's a full-time job.
It's definitely not a full-time job.
Well, let me be clear. It's not a full-time job.
No, it's definitely not full-time.
Like, growth is.
And if you're...
But running an ad account is not.
No, and also, like...
For one person.
As an agency now, running an ad account shouldn't be the thing you do. That should be like...
Yeah, it's creative, it's offer, and it's basically creative and offer. In terms of what an agency can control.
It's also upstream. It's like diagnosing where the problems are that you can fix as a partnership with the brands. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, we are not a media buying agency anymore. That's like the bottom barrel lever that you can pull, right? There's like 4 things above it that we work on with a lot of our brands. Like the ad account stuff is just mental. It's quite literally, and I believe what Sam Benning says. It's like literally as many high volume creatives as you can in there, and don't look at it.
Yeah.
Don't look at it. Look at it for like, direction and like indication of what's going on. Like, you still need to know if your click-through rate's crap, because that will ultimately be the judge if you've got high quality creatives.
It's basically the hierarchy. I think someone posted this on Instagram the other day. It's like obvious, but it's just so true. It's like product at the top, then your brand layer makes it premium, whatever. Then it's the offer, like the subscription starter kit. You could swap creative and offer.
I would not.
And then it's retention.
I would not put
That's
brand
like the life cycle
anywhere near the top of that list. No way. You think people give a shit about your brand? They don't.
I think maybe that's a more holistic view rather than just talking about media buying, but like how you create like something to be attractive, right? Because if you get the same product and put it in, I don't know, clear plastic bag with handwritten, "This is a fucking coffee."
Yeah.
Or you can get something that builds.
But if it had the same ingredients as a sexy one, was £5 cheaper, I know which one everyone would buy.
Yeah, but you can need both, don't you?
You do need both. What I say, I wouldn't put it at the top of that list. I'd put it near the bottom.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, that was more like holistic building and e-com.
Oh, yeah. Those are the important
rather than
levers.
in terms of media buying, yeah, it's creative.
Yeah, for sure.
But you also need a good offer and a good retention to support that creative.
Product offer, obviously, if you subscription retention for sure.
Yeah.
And then, you'd look at creative, and then maybe you'd look at brand. And then ad account stuff is right at the bottom. People that come to us and during the sales process is like, we just think the reason we're not 5 million above where we are is because our ad account structure is wrong. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you, if we come in and just do what we do, that's going to get you 10, maybe 20%, and it's going to be you'll feel that, you'll realize that benefit immediately, and then it'll flatline.
Do you still run ad accounts?
Me
personally?
No.
Could you?
No. I'm in them.
Could someone throw you the keys?
Yeah, I could do. Yeah. I'm in them all the time, but like. Just because
if you were launching your own brand, would you be in the ad account, or would you hire your own agency straight away?
Without a doubt, I'd give it my own agency.
But do you think your team would be better than you running it?
I think my team would be better than me if they didn't know it was my brand.
Yeah. Why? Because if thought it was yours, I wouldn't care.
Other way around. I think they do stuff that they wouldn't normally do because it was mine.
Yeah.
Like they would spend too much time
overcomplicate
stuff because it's not as natural. Whereas we just have a repeatable process that works. Like the whole reason you hire an agency is because you hire the operational methodology. Right?
Yeah.
It's like I believe that the things that you do are right, so I'm going to hire you to do them. Yeah. And the worst relationships we ever have are the people that hire us because of our methodology, and then when we do it, they're like, oh, no, we don't do it like that. It's like, yeah, that's why you're here.
Yeah.
Like, that's why you're here. We do it this way. That's how we're going to do it.
Do you prefer running creative as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you ever just run the ad account?
Never. Always comes with creative.
Yeah.
Everything we do comes with creative. Otherwise, anyone out there at all that's paying for just media buying, immediately look elsewhere.
Yeah.
Immediately look elsewhere.
I do agree.
What are they doing then? Just building ads in?
Yeah.
It's the least.
That's an AI job
It's the bottom barrel move, and it adds zero value.
Do most of your clients have you run all their creative or just a chunk of it?
Well, no, because they'll use others as well, and they'll do it internally.
Yeah.
And we advise, our teams and our clients to like get as much creative as physically possible.
Yeah, I do agree with you should have a core agency do your media buying, ideally all channels. Is that what you do as well? At least Google and Meta, but ideally all.
Yeah, we do all channels.
I don't understand brands and founders that have different agencies or freelancers per channel.
No, and then you have ego.
I just don't understand it.
No.
Naming no names. There's some like big short freelancers I know, and, well, agencies, but I think of one person.
Yeah.
And they charge like ridiculous money. They're like, no, I only run X channel.
Crazy.
I'm like, but bruv, how could I ever? The numbers are crazy because then you start having multiple retainers. But what if like they're optimizing for X, but they don't see what's happening on Meta?
It's an ecosystem.
It doesn't make sense.
It's an ecosystem, and they all can join, and they all have to do a certain job, right? So I've just had, this is a real life example, fashion brand that will probably do like 12 to 15 mil this year. They left us for Google, right? Because they said, we think you're leaving money on the table for Google. Yeah, they're saying,
well, because you weren't spending much.
Because
just picking up demand.
We believe that for them, because you have to look at Google as a unit economics thing, right? It's like, can I get more business? Yeah. Can you afford it? No.
Yeah.
Right? Can you afford what that's going to cost you? No. So
same with Amazon, I think.
Yeah, we have it at, between 10 and 20% is what we'll spend on Google, because ultimately our game is new customers for all of our brands.
10 to 20% of spend?
Yeah, of spend.
Yeah.
Because our belief is that our core reason for people working with us, we need to get you new customers. Yeah. NCPA, NCAG, all that, that's what we're here to do. That comes from Meta. So they came to us and they said, right, we're going to leave because you're not, we think it should be 40, 50%. Like we should be number one on Google for X, Y, and Z.
Then they do that and CAC doubles.
So what happens was they left, and I said to them, if you do this, I'm going to tell you exactly what will happen, because they think that The beauty of being with an agency is we've done this test 1,000 times, but they think they're the first person to ever spot.
That's the benefit of a decent agency.
Yeah, that Google ROAS is high. And I said to them, do you think you're the first person ever to spot that Google ROAS is abnormally higher than in-ad account meta ROAS, right? Come on. And we use incremental attribution, so our ROAS looks terrible in ad account, but it means we get more new customers. So they left, they scaled Google. What happens when you scale Google? CAC goes through the roof. What happens? We have to pull back Meta. Yeah. So what happens in that decision is they immediately start acquiring less new customers because Meta's gone backwards, and more existing customers because they're hammering Google.
On brand terms and stuff.
Because they need to try and make it look better, right? And what happens is the spend went up by 40%, and the Google attributed ROAS just went down. It just plummeted, right? And they're like, but it's still higher than Meta. It's like, but nothing's happened on the back end, and you're losing more new customers. Rolls into month 2, they carried on doing it. Month 2, they had their record low new customer volume in over 2 years, which was last month, so July, They then handed the keys back to us at the start of August, and I said to them, you haven't even felt the problem yet.
But when they gave Google away, you were still running Meta.
But
you have to do it differently.
But we had to pull it back because of what happens on Google. And I said to them when they came back, I said, you haven't even felt the outcome of what I told you about yet. That's going to happen in August, right? The worst month to do it because people are away. It's a heat wave. And now you're going to realize the pain of 2 really shit months on new customers. And that's exactly what's happening now. The returning customers are 40% down month on month, year on year, even worse. And their revenue's in the bin because the existing customers for fashion brands, never hotter than the first 90 days. They're the cheapest ones to acquire because you get them on the back end, right? It's all email, SMS for fashion. It's super hot, right? And you just hammer them over the first 90 days. They buy chinos, you send them polos. They buy polos, you send them chinos. Like, super easy to do on the retention side to get those come back. You've now got way less of those, and you're going to realize that pain in August. And they never understand how the ecosystem works. So I never get it when brands want to have, they say, oh no, I like it to be separate because they'll spend more time on them all. And it's like, that's not how it works. That's just not how it works. So now they're going to feel that pain now. For the whole of August, we've now got to acquire new customers for more expensive than we'd like to because they need new customers through the door. Which means August is going to be a shit show.
What's the best month for a fashion brand?
Obviously, what are you
talking? I would hate the seasonality.
Talking margin. Well, actually, the seasonality can be good. They've got a lot more to talk about than what you do.
I guess Q4 and summer,
They've got way more to talk about.
I think fashion's a horrible business.
It's a horrible... I
did it like 8-9 years ago, not to a huge scale, but like, fuck me, the sizes,
it's a horrible business.
Competition, got in fashion, like, I just love basically single SKU subscription.
It's a hard business. The best months are the ones when you have the drops. It's a good business because they've always got something to say, right? And it's very...
Cash management must be brutal in a fashion brand.
Cash management
Cash
is
and
brutal.
stock management.
But what is good is when you get a SKU that works. So let's say you get this T-shirt, and it starts to slap, it goes out. You just bring it out 12.
White T-shirt?
12 colours. Yeah. All right, well, you're super cool.
Do you reckon brands can add value to a white T-shirt and still be competitive?
They don't add value. They just add colours.
Well, yeah, I guess that's probably a different question. But like, do you think a new brand can like put a new angle on a white T-shirt anymore, given how competitive it's got? Because I feel like every brand does the same shit now. The amount of brand owners I see saying, this brand stole my design. I'm like, bruv, it's a black and white T-shirt.
Yeah, bro.
No offense, like, you didn't invent that either. Man, I'm very far removed from fashion.
Don't even get me started.
I've seen a few of those.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the thing is, in fashion,
big ego fashion founders,
massive
ego. No offense, they seem to always have the biggest ego. That's why they're in fashion.
No, they definitely do. They have the biggest ego. Like, they can't understand why certain products they design don't sell.
Yeah, you're saying.
And it's like, ultimately, I'm not gonna tell you your product's good or not, right? You've designed it, that's fine. The market will tell you whether this is good or not, yeah? And what happens is when they sell out of their key items, they're like, oh, but we've got all this stuff. And it's like, that stuff didn't sell in the sale.
What do you think makes a product or collection bang in fashion in the brands that you've seen? Is it creative in the same way it is? I guess it's not quite the same as like a supplement with like problem solution.
Yeah, creative is very easy for fashion because it's just making...
What is the creative that works in fashion for, like, say, a men's fashion brand?
The best creative that works is when people go and do shoots, right? So like you're
just like sick images.
Yeah, so like for example, you do
models.
Yeah, you do spring summer, like you go and do a shoot in Miami, for example. Yeah. Like it's making it look aspirational so that people actually want to wear it.
But is it always generally more that than it is, say, an unboxing of look at this, it's got this?
It's all of it.
Yeah.
It's all of it.
You need
all of it, and you need it often. And one of the key things is you need different people. People buy what they see. I want to see someone that looks similar to me, size, stature, age, in the stuff.
Yeah.
That's going to get me to buy it more than it would be, a mixed race 18-year-old that's 6'4" and absolutely whammed.
Yeah.
Because I'm be like, well, you know,
like every JD model.
Yeah, but ultimately that's what you make a decision on in fashion, right?
Yeah.
And can you differentiate it? Yeah. Look at what True Classics did.
Yeah.
They just found an angle.
I feel like there's like functional clothing. Do you know what I mean? I view True Classic as
it's a t-shirt.
Yeah, I buy a lot of it, but not because it's cool, because I like the fit.
Well, there you go.
And I think, I don't know their business that well, but it just seems like they're not trying to be fashion. It's trying to be like a solution to men not finding fit.
Yeah, but they're like, just they are cool. Monsters. Like, have you seen their site? Some of the stuff they do. Like
they've got hardcore upsells. Everything.
Oh, mate, they are monsters in the game. Yeah, but they're different to like a sexy fashion brand. Sexy fashion brand would never do anything like that.
Do you think sexy fashion brands can scale? Because I spoke to a few people in the space about it, and it's like feels like almost one of the most there's a massive market for it. And it feels like you could scale it quite quick. But like
it's cyclical.
The challenge with fashion, and I'm not an expert in it, is it feels like once it gets big, it's then not cool anymore. Which by default defeats the point of being a cool fashion brand.
Right. It's cyclical.
Which even brands like Represent, I feel like have started. I mean, they're obviously crushing, but like I used to buy Represent in 2016 when it was small.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't buy it anymore because I still buy like their shorts and stuff. But like I wouldn't be into the Team 24/7 stuff.
Okay. So
partly because I see every fucking
Tom, Dick and Harry.
Cringe High Rocks rich kid, to be quite honest. The London rich kid archetype, the 28-year-old who has all the gear and no idea.
Yeah.
Who has like, it's a classic stereotype. They run a 5-hour marathon, but you look like an elite athlete.
Yeah.
And that kind of killed it for me.
Yeah.
And now I'm a bit like,
so
I like their basics, but
it's fashion's cyclical, right? So it goes in cycles. So they'll have the moment in the sun, and then they will ultimately tail off. The reason they tail off is because they scale too hard into
I think they're definitely still printing.
Yeah,
but just it's a good example.
Brands can D2C bootstrap, like they can scale too aggressively into their own demand, right? And then they become everywhere. One of the biggest problems that I see brands do is go into retail, and then you're too easily accessible. Yeah, because people like to ultimately go and shop still and try things on. And there's a fashion brand that we work with that did 25 mil last year. They ultimately wanted to try and get to 34, 35 this year. And I was like, first of all, you're not going to have the cash to even do that. Second
just
of all,
because of stock.
Just because, to actually have the cash to put into the stock to actually realise 34 million quid's worth of sales is massive in fashion, right? And second of all, you're also going into retail this year. Yeah, you're going to scale into demand that either is not there or you're going to become too easily accessible. What fashion brands should do when they get to that point, or one of the routes that they can do, look at Reese Wabara. Yeah, an absolute monster in the fashion game. Yeah, stood the test of time.
Saw their store in Battersea Power Station the other week. I was like, pretty impressive.
The most profitable fashion brand out there for sure. That's D2C. Yeah.
Well, it's retail now, isn't it?
Yeah, but his own retail.
Yeah.
He's not done it through. His own retail, his own shops. Yeah. He never went into retail because he didn't want to become a commodity.
Yeah.
He didn't want to become too much. What he did every year was elevate the brand slightly. Yeah. And he's
definitely way more premium now.
But what he's done is he's realised that on the back end, and he's super smart, on the back end, his unit economics, he realised that if he puts the price up, his volume drops, but his revenue stays the same. Yeah, so he's actually doing less orders, so less commoditized every year because he's putting his prices up. Yeah, but he's doing the same revenue, and whilst doing that, getting better margin. Yeah, every year getting better margin, better unit economics, better everything. And if you look at his company's house in the UK one year, I think he went to like 24 million. The following year, he dropped it back down to 18 and made more profit. What he's ultimately realised is, if I go here, my margin disappears. And I'm almost becoming a commodity. So if I pull it back down here, sort my back end out, this is the point of which I'm ultimately the most profitable as a fashion brand without driving into demand to be like, everyone's got MDV on, like I don't want to wear it anymore. And then he went to the States, did the same thing.
Yeah.
Blown it up. But what people tend to do, and again, fashion, massive ego, is every year is like, I want 10 more mil. I want 10 more mil of growth. I want 10 more mil of this. I want 10 more mil of that. And a lot of them shouldn't do it because you're just going to drive into demand that makes you become more unpopular. And they start to go into certain retailers like JD, and then a certain segment of customers are like, I'm not buying that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they'll go into like...
There's a lot of those JD brands in there.
Yeah, or they'll Next. I mean, they'll go into Next, and then people are like, you're in Next and JD. Like, I'm going to move on. And it is one of the most competitive spaces, and it's hard to differentiate. And the best ones are the ones that have a creative founder who ultimately designs.
Really have to love fashion, not just
got to love fashion
to be in fashion.
Yeah, got to love fashion.
Like, fuck me, it's complicated.
You got to be a founder that's into design and garments, and but even still, every drop is.
What do you think about the athleisure and like gym brand space? Gymshark, the OG, at least in terms of this generation.
I like
now.
It
feels like, I mean, again, Gymshark obviously a mega business and still growing, but like they get a lot of shit on like Twitter and stuff. I find that quite funny.
For what?
People talking shit about the youngest self-made billionaire in the UK's like company's house looking less good or something because they're like less profitable. But even though like I think if you actually dig into it, it's probably tactical. But it feels like there's what's that brand like Abel's one. Mm-hmm. I'm not really hot in the space. Aloe, Define.
Yeah.
There's all these like women-focused brands as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I just feel like every brand that seems to launch in that category just fucking rips. Who's that other one? Monturex. You see their
Monturex
numbers?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of in between, isn't it? It's like it's not fashion, but it's not. It's probably more sports, athleisure.
It's athleisure. That's what.
To me, that's the classic JD brand.
I think that
it's like your average sort of bricklayer customer, if you will.
But it's not though. It's everyone, right? And when you go to the States, that's all they wear. It's mental. Like it's athleisure every day. In Dubai in the winter, it's
I mean like Monturex more specifically, it's kind of like I'd call it quite chabby.
Yeah, Monturex definitely.
No offense.
Yeah, Monturex
obviously a great business,
but that market in general is good, and it's good because the LTV is good. Like people buy loads of it. They wear it to the gym. They wear it every day. It runs out. They like it because they're wearing it every day, so they just go and buy more. So it's just bringing out new colours, and ultimately it's all plain. Now, there's a new brand coming through called Condition.
Condition, not her then.
Yeah, he's a good operator. They're a cool brand, but they ripped.
Is that similar sort of shit?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, plain stuff. It's what I was wearing yesterday when we met. It's just it's quite literally just plain stuff. But it's
do you reckon that makes it harder for a brand to scale when you don't have the branding all over it? Because I didn't notice that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think people want branding everywhere on their athleisure.
No, I agree.
I don't think they want it there. I want if
I just wonder if
it had Condition.
Remember Hera back in 2016?
Yeah, well that's 2016.
I mean, obviously, not really here anymore.
Different.
But
it got popular through Geordie Shore. I mean, they're the most fashionable people,
Yeah, just like a block text.
Yeah, quite literally. Well, I don't know. Fashion's a very tough game for product. Ultimately, every drop's a bet. You have no idea whether it's going to work or not. My advice,
so much dead stock in fashion would worry me.
And the worst thing about the dead stock in fashion is the founder doesn't want to sell it
liquidate
because they love it. So they have this, instead of getting it back in, what you should do is, and there's a brand called Rave do this really well, and Arn do it really well.
Arn's the other one I was thinking.
So when you launch your drop, like let's say you do 10 items for easy maths, 3 of them slap, 5 of them are selling okay, and the others just aren't moving. Put them in a sale immediately. They're just not going to sell. Yeah. If you give them a few hundred creatives each, and nothing's moving, they're ultimately not going to sell. So liquidate that stock, get cash back, and then bring out a new colour of the ones that are slapping.
Yeah.
So if you just do white, green, and navy, go and bring out grey, light blue, powder blue, whatever you want to call it, whatever cool name they come up with, mocha, it's brown. So and then go deeper on those ones. But ultimately, what they don't do is exactly that. It's because they're like, it'll start selling in a minute. It won't. It just won't. You've sent email, text to your buyers, your customers who like you as a brand, and they're saying no. So it's
is that where most of the drop revenue comes from? Existing customers?
Definitely.
So where does Meta come in typically for like a fashion brand? It's a bit
new
different.
Customers.
In supplements, yeah, of course. I just mean like in terms like
never spend on existing customers on Meta for a fashion brand. Just don't do it. It's new customers.
Yeah.
It's new customers. And it's a lot easier game on the Meta standpoint because it's just loads of different creative with different people wearing it into the ad account in every different format. UGC works.
What do you think is easier, guys or girls fashion and clothing in general? I don't know if you worked on both.
I reckon guys
are not in that space.
Guys are harder. They like their brands and they tend to just stick with them. Like you've probably got like 5 brands you buy from all the time. Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, I find a fit I like, and I'm like, yeah.
I feel like clothes just run out so quick, isn't it?
Yeah, so you're like, I'm going to stay with them. I think women, they're definitely more female buyers, and they're definitely open to trying more new stuff. But their returns are way higher. Female returns are way higher, for sure, because there's all different.
Jeez, returns in clothing. Don't people say 20% or something typical? Or is it? I don't even know. Higher.
I've heard 30%. People say that 20% is good.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you do with that stock? I guess you have to resell it.
Yeah.
But then someone's tried it on. How does that work?
Well, they have all those things, don't they, where it's like, if you remove a certain part
if you
of it,
remove
then
this, you can't return it.
Yeah, then you can't return it, you can't keep it. But yeah, returns.
It's actually pretty minging, that.
Returns are quite high.
What brand would you start? Are you going to start a brand? I always take the piss out of, I say people that can't run brands run agencies. Even though agency is actually a way better business for most founders. I genuinely believe that.
Agencies are way better business.
Way better
general.
cash flow for most people.
Also in general.
Yeah.
Just a better business.
It's more durable because you're quite, by default, you're diversified across all the clients.
And it gets easier the longer you've been in it because you've operationalized your methodology and then you just have to change bits of it. You have like a belief system that actually works, proved by data. And it's easier as you get older because obviously we've got loads of data now. So like when we talk to clients, it's not opinion based anymore. It's just data. So you're not sat there being like, I think. It's like, look at this. 70 mil of spend says this. So if you disagree, you're going to have to tell me why you disagree with that because this is backed by a lot of numbers. Do you know what I'm saying?
You're going to start a brand?
I will start a brand.
Would you ever start... Do you ever think you'd find a brand that you were so bullish on you quit the agency? I guess it would make no sense, right? Because you just use the agency to run the brand.
Yeah, I wouldn't need to. Ultimately, the biggest leverage is that you don't pay for marketing, you don't pay for an agency.
Yeah.
Like
and you've also got all the insights, right?
All the insights
and data.
Creatives, data, everything. Reason I haven't done it in the past is time. So I was a solo founder, obviously, and being a solo founder of an agency that had like 40 odd clients is time consuming, especially when I'm the guy that leads the service side. That's like what I'm passionate about. That's what I'm into, obviously, as you can probably tell, like the deep weeds of e-com. And I really hated the growth side of things. Like I could never be asked for sales calls and stuff like that because 9 out of 10 are tire kickers. And when you get into the details of what they put on the sales form, they've lied about most of them, right? And you're looking for the ones where you're like, okay, if we apply our methodology to this, it's like, boom, win. Because what we don't want is one in, one out, right? No sooner they're in, it's not going to work. There's a lot of brands when I speak to, I'm like, yeah, this is probably not.
Do you reject brands based on how bullish you are on whether they can scale or not?
All the time.
Like if it's worth your time?
Yeah, because pound per stress, is a phrase I use all the time. We look at now brands based on the founder and the business, and be like, if we bring them in here, our team attention's super high. And it's because we don't let people in where we're like, we don't believe this will work if we run it through our methodology. Yeah, so if they've done a lot of what we would say before, or if they're like, we haven't got the capacity to pay for you and go and get lots of creative on top and we know that's what they need, or if the margin's not good enough, brands that come through, the margin's like 45, 50, 55%. It's like you've realised all of the TAM for your unit economics. You can't grow any further now. Like ultimately that's not going to happen. So we reject brands all the time. It's the best way to run an agency because then your catch LTV is massive.
What's the best sort of brand? Not necessarily type, but like what's the best like...
High gross margin.
Yeah, what's the best like...
High gross...
I don't know what word I'm looking for. The sort of brand that would...
Yeah. So like our ideal client profile.
Yeah.
It is... We're looking for brands that have got high gross margin, so in around 80% for us is great because it means they've got longevity into scaling. They're not going to come in and go scale once and then you're just flatlined, right? They've got longevity to go. So high gross margin is definitely one of them. Ideally for us, a lean team, right? Because then there's less voices. One point of contact so that we're not sat on a team call with 8 people on there and they've all got an opinion on stuff that they ultimately know less about than us, which is why they've come here. So we like to ideally work with the head of growth, if that's somebody that they've got there, or the founder. So things can just be like, boom. And people that are going to give us autonomy as well, right? Yeah. It's like, don't come for what we do, the case studies you've seen, everything you've seen on our YouTube and online, all this kind of stuff, and then come and tell us that ultimately it's not right. It's like, you may as well not be here. So having those conversations up front, and then just making sure that they've got the stock to scale and all the bits to like actually move the needle, because ultimately brands come to us to grow, either get more efficient or grow, and we need to make sure that they can do both. Otherwise, there's no point coming.
So what brand would you start today? Or at least like general...
Has to be a subscription
category.
brand. Yeah, it's got to be a subscription brand. I like the simplicity of a one SKU brand, right?
So and the playbook these days, isn't it?
One SKU brand,
subscription, done.
One SKU, as many angles as physically possible. Yeah, so it can resonate with multiple personas, multiple markets, and it's got TAMs within TAMs, right? So it's like ultimately there's a lot of different people you can appeal to, and they've all got their own TAM. It's like the bigger that is, the better. Yeah, that would without doubt be what I would do.
And how, like within that, hypothetically, if you're looking at stuff, how would you pick a product basically, or like pick a niche? Would you look at something that's already really big and proven, for example, like greens, and put a new angle on it, like Grand? That's one way. Or would you go like, there's like a wave happening here, but it's not really been done yet?
Yeah. Well, we've got an internal brand that came over as part of the merge, right? And
really?
Yeah, and that's done. That's got 15,000 active subscribers.
Oh, is that the one we spoke about?
Yeah, okay. 15,000 active subscribers, and its CAC is lower than its AOV, and it's scaling pretty aggressively. And we just applied our methodology to it. The CAC to LTV is 3-1. Yeah, so it's healthy. It's good. Yeah, and
what, on a margin basis?
1-3. Yeah. It's super profitable. It's so profitable. It's good.
What is that? Single SKU?
Single SKU. Yeah. A few versions of the single SKU.
So that was owned by the other guy that came in?
Yeah. And now that's part of the internal, that's part of the group, obviously. And it's scaling aggressively. And that's just using our methodology. It's, from the day we launched it, it's had 100 ads a week put into it. Yeah, minimum. Now it has way more. Just covering all the
different angles. Is that UK
or US? UK. We've never turned off an ad since it's been live. It's 18 months now it's been live. Never turned an ad off. Not one. Some of the ROAS on the top spending ad, 0.2. Yeah. 0.2.
In ad account.
In ad account. Yeah. We'll never turn it off.
All subscription?
All subscription.
Subscription only, or?
Subscription only. Yeah.
That's a shame.
Never turn it off. I will. And
it's dirty.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's
a much better category than mushrooms.
This year it'll probably do 6 mil. Yeah. So it's still in the, this is going to sound mad to say, but the easy stage, right?
I think sub 10 mil in the UK brand is the easy stage.
You're in the glow up stage, where, like, especially when you have the right methodology, it's got leverage in the fact that it's got unlimited creatives going in there every week from us.
Is it a trending category right now as well?
I would say so.
A hot category?
I wouldn't say it's hot. I would say it's trending.
Yeah.
So, but the next one that we're probably looking at doing, I would go, and it was hot when we joined it. Yeah. The next one I would go for something that's just coming up. I mean, we spoke about it yesterday, but
don't be giving that away.
No, I'm not going to give it away. But ultimately, one that's on the come up.
Yeah.
And it's a single SKU, and it's got so many angles. Yeah, so many angles to go up. It's super passionate niche, and it's not fad. It's something that has been here since the test of time, the problem that it solves, and will be here forever.
Yeah.
It's just right now, there's an epidemic of it. Right?
I agree.
Massive.
I do think macro timing for categories.
Timing for sure.
I actually think like the macro factor of what category you're in, timing, product, niche, whatever, is, I would say, more important than execution past a certain point. Assuming you're getting the baseline right.
There has been brands, that we've worked with.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna name no names, whose founders have known nothing. They're not like a Sam. Yeah, who's you speak to him and you're like, I know why.
They're just right place, right time.
I know why you're at 100 mil. They are right place, right time.
Yeah.
And they know. And what's happened because of it, they're almost like a crypto trader. They've got to.
They haven't built the skills.
They've got to 12 mil and they've got no idea what to do. And they don't know how to fix problems, and they don't know how e-com works, and they don't know all this. And they're just like, well, we just did this last time. It's like, that's not going to cut it now. That ship has sailed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You probably met loads of them. Loads of D2C people.
Oh, for sure. I know 2 guys in one category, naming no names, that both had a bit of a boom and bust. You worked with one of them.
I worked with one of them.
Yes.
Fuck.
And that category's dead now.
I don't know who that would be.
Well, I'll say afterwards, but yeah. Maybe not dead, but it's not, neither of those guys are in those businesses anymore.
Yeah. So, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I know.
There were 2 identical businesses.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would do those. And we would do it exactly the same again, same methodology. We just flood the ad account. We would get as many high volume, high quality creatives, as diverse as physically possible, into the ad account. We'd probably eventually have a campaign per persona so that you can kind of iron out who's actually working and who's not, and look to scale into those. would definitely do the 3, 6, 12-month thing. That's why it was top of mind, because
Yeah.
I've been thinking.
I literally think it's almost a playbook. I give much better advice on this stuff. Or like much better. I can just, if I had a piece of paper and I was like, what would I do? I'm very clear.
Yeah.
And it's often feels so much easier to do that.
Yeah.
From a blank sheet of paper than it feels like to enact that in a business that already exists with baggage and opinions and retail channels and expectations. And that's why I think I'm better at 0 to 1.
Yeah, I would do
0 to 1 being like, could be up to 20, 30 mil, but like the stage of 0 to 1 where it's aggressively simple.
I think also but I don't think after 1 needs to become not aggressively simple.
Yeah,
I think people they get bloated with ego and they start to hire big teams. They do stupid stuff and they stop doing what got them to the dance. I mean, did you have Purdy and Fig on your podcast?
Yeah.
How simple. Crushes.
I think they're quite a big team now. I don't know what they're up to now, but yeah, it's a great business.
Crushes.
By the looks of it. I don't know the inside out, but
crushes. But I actually watched that podcast. He's obsessed about all the right stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the right stuff.
Autistic simplicity is almost always the case. There's this like curve where the midwit meme, stupid person, average person overcomplicates, expert person, quote unquote, does the simple shit that seems too simple.
100%.
It's what works.
And there's just so much BS in e-com that you can get dragged into. There's the silos things we talked about with different channels and not understanding that actually it's all one. There's the creative thing, which is like, if you're going to go into an ad account on, let's say today, and be like, right, well, I'm going to judge it based on the last 3 days, and these ads are over this CPA, so I'm going to turn them off. In 3 days' time, when you go back in there, those ads will be under the CPA that you need. Do you turn them back on? And if you turn them back on in 48 hours' time, you turn them back off again when the CPA is too high. I think when you're a smaller brand, that sort of stuff can work because you need to control where some of your spend goes. But I think when you get to your stage, going in, spending all of your time in this ad account looking at these creatives and ultimately deciding that 5 of them are the reason that your CAC's too high is mental. It's just not going to be the thing. And there's so many other things like that hook rate. No one's ever shown me any data that hook rate means your brand's making more money.
I think it's just one of many things where you're just looking at the wrong thing and overcomplicating it.
100%. And what happens right at the start is you don't look at any of that stuff. You just load it with more creative because you don't know about it. So you're just throwing stuff in there and being like, right, well, I'll spend more money on this and do more of that and I need more creative. And you don't have time to get into the weeds, and then you grow and you're like, right, now I know all of my key KPIs. I'm going to try and improve all of them. Whereas in actual fact, they should just work on the back end of the business more.
Agreed.
Product's the biggest needle mover, and most brands spend the least amount of time on it, which I find bizarre.
You ever had a brand get a big exit that you work with?
We've had a few brands
because that's
exits.
The one thing I would counter on the super simplicity, like founder led forever, and I definitely think you need to do that for a while, is if you do want to sell it, it does have to not rely on the founder, right? Eventually,
100%.
And that is a thing that.
But that's.
I think that ethos is what investors do understand. I think they can apply it in the wrong way and too soon and so on, as we've said. But like at the end of the day, if you've got this, I know loads of brands that like Chad Scale and like, but if the founder like disappeared tomorrow, the whole thing's fucked. And then it's like it's not an asset. It can still be a great business, by the way.
Yeah.
But a lot of people talk about the exit, and I think that's actually the wrong focus anyway, in many ways. But yeah, I just think sometimes why
is that the wrong focus?
To think about an exit.
Yeah.
Because I think if you're optimizing for an exit, you're not just fucking optimizing the business. I think, there's two sides to it. I think it can be good to think about optimizing for an exit, which is what VC, to bring it back to the start of the conversation, for the last bit maybe. I've definitely learned a lot about what a business might need to look like for an exit. Yeah. I think, which is good, because you're like, and not just in like the team, but I mean like going into retail, are we thinking about the right margins and stuff, which I think can overcomplicate it in the start, but like at some point is relevant and it's good learning. Yeah. And speak to buyers and met someone from Nestle's acquisition team, all this shit. That's access you get from certain, and that has value, but like less value than just growing the business at this stage. But at the same time, I think if you think about it too much, which I think also comes from the same source in my case of having investors, is that you end up doing things that I would argue do more to just make the business look good than actually make it be good. As in like, let's hire a senior team in X role that we wouldn't normally do, but it looks more investable and it's less reliant on the fact, And then the flip side of that can sometimes be, and maybe this is too controversial, but you get to a point where like, okay, the business can run without the founder, but now it's got none of the energy that it originally had from the founder.
I think,
Do you know what I mean? So it's a very fine line. Obviously businesses and teams have to mature. I think basically focusing on exit too soon is probably the better way to put it.
Yeah.
Can crush the business.
I would agree with that.
And that's the ultimate irony, because it can crush the very thing that is going to get the exit in the first place.
Well, you need to get to the dance business before you even think about doing that. I think that the 0 to 1 that we're talking about, 0 to 10, is like, don't even think about it, just get to 10. And then start making your EBIT look,
I think the other thing is, like, what are you trying to build a business for?
Yeah.
Well, like, you don't have to want to build a massive business and sell it for loads of money.
Yeah.
You could just want to run a fucking lifestyle business, leverage AI and build some sick product.
Yeah.
Most people just don't know. And they start something and then they kind of fall into like a scenario.
Well, they let other people decide for them. They see you raising, they're like, oh, I should raise.
Yeah.
They're like, just because you've raised, they're like, I should raise, rather than being like, do I want to have other opinions in there or not?
Yeah, exactly.
But they're led by,
obviously your opinion can change as you grow and get older, and mine certainly has in certain areas, but like at least make the decision based on what you actually think at the time.
Yeah. I also think with founders timing and launching a brand that we're talking about, I think more people need to take a look at TAM before they get into a market.
Oh, for sure. If they want to build a big business.
You can't outrun TAM. But everyone gets into business to launch a big business. Go and open a cafe if you want a passion project.
Yeah.
Or a Pilates studio.
Yeah. True.
True. But, or whatever else it might be. I think everyone that gets into D2C gets into it because it's sexy and you can do big numbers. I've never met anyone that's like, oh, it's a lifestyle business.
Dropshippers who work 2 hours a day and just spend Amex points. I've definitely been there.
Yeah. But I think more founders should look at TAM. Like, do you think you've realized your TAM in the UK? Like, for your main SKU, like, how many people are in that TAM now, really?
I think, and also, TAM is one thing. TAM that works at a certain CAC is another thing. I think officially that's called SOM, like, serviceable operation.
But then there's also competition, right?
Or SAM, sorry.
People are chewing into your TAM every year with new products.
As is in every category, right? It's just like, you kind of want a category that's big enough, but category is also like, it's the type of product and the product within it, but also like the market you're in is as relevant, if not more than just like the product category. You want one that's probably established enough that like there's been proof points and maybe you can still add newness to it rather than, I don't know, I would say probably hydration, the ship a sale now.
Yeah.
To give an example of a massive TAM that's probably overcrowded. But arguably there's still new ways to do it, but the CACs in that category are probably so high now that I would imagine it's very hard.
Yeah. I think past the 10 mil.
But there will always be something new because categories move on, opportunities come, other brands die, etc.
I think with certain products in the supplement space, you can get competed down to zero because it's the same, the game ultimately. And this is why first timing and first mover advantage and stuff plays a big part, because ultimately in the supplement space, I can just bring out what you bring out. It's the exact same product. And if I can afford for it to be £5 cheaper, if I find a way to make that happen, I'm going to win. Or if I can find a way to pay £10 more for a customer than you can, I'm going to win. Right, so I think that what would you even class Space Goods as now? Like, it was obviously mushroom.
It's functional coffee brand
now.
That's kind of what it was from day one. I mean, I made a lot of mistakes.
I think the name's changed for it. Like, it was a mushroom. It was like,
I never thought of it as mushrooms.
You did,
but everyone did. It was, it was a mushroom coffee essentially. But like, I used to even say 3 years ago, we're not a mushroom brand. That's too niche. And I'm right, by the way, because the mushroom category is shrinking. That's a fact.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think brands naming their names that are very mushroom first in our category are dying as a result.
Yeah, it's not sexy anymore.
Well, it's also just, a trending ingredient. I think, whereas functional drinks and coffee plus functional coffee that's not trending.
No.
Or it's less trending. Coffee's not going away.
No. It's stood the test of time.
It's just positioning, right? We've done a lot of changes on that recently. And
can you say what you're going to do? Can you say where you're going?
Well, I mean,
I know you're changing a lot.
There's a few things we did. We started as a mushroom brand back in day one. Kind of the life cycle, I think, over the last few years was mushroom brand, then it was mushroom coffee brand.
Yeah.
Then last year was the worst. We just went into being like mushroom powders and for different use cases, and that was fucking dumb in hindsight. Could have worked, but I think it was dumb for us.
Yeah.
Then we were like, actually, we're a focused energy brand because that's kind of the core. Like, could we do energy drinks and this and that and the other? And we did actually make one in the background. And then I just decided, fuck it, we're a coffee plus brand. That's what we were on day one in 2022. Basically, that's how I thought about it. That was the use case for me. So let's just go deeper on that. So now we're going a lot deeper onto new stuff, new formats, but all in coffee.
Are you in the States yet?
No.
Why?
Well, it's come back to where we started on this conversation. There's a large part of
that.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you're not over there.
Yeah, I think it's crazy too.
Crazy. The
pushback is always, CAC's going to be higher. We're not ready yet.
They've got more money. They've got way more money.
My counter is, I don't know a single brand that scaled to like the big numbers, 5, 10, 15,
In the
20,
UK?
20 a month just in the UK. Not a single one.
What?
Not one.
No, not
And
what.
I also know founders, one I know doing 20 million a month with a brand. Well, kind of, I would say it's a slightly grey hat brand, but it's a brand. And he said himself,
If you're saying slightly, then
yeah,
he's definitely
he's saying
correct.
himself he couldn't do 10% of that in the UK,
No.
in his opinion.
No, they've got more, so
CAC is higher, but it definitely is. We did test it a little bit and just kind of it was too soon. It's like a year ago, but then I think retention's higher, AOV is higher.
retention's
What's
higher,
the deeper?
AOV is higher.
What's
They're also more accustomed to trying something new. They're always ahead of us in regards to like the health and wealth supplement.
The next thing
space.
I do US day one. That might come
Really?
back to bite me, but certainly.
Yeah.
I just think you're not working any harder by being in a bigger market.
No.
It's as hard to fucking serve, I don't know, the Central African Republic or some niche like, okay, maybe that's a bad example, but any small country, it's the same work.
Yeah.
It is literally the same work.
Same needles to move.
The economics
same
are the only
levers to
variable.
pull.
And that I don't know, but obviously it's worked for some brands over there. Some UK brands are going over there now.
They should go over there because ultimately
One that just raised loads of money, but
there's a conversation to be had like the Mané de War one for Space Goods where it's like,
I think our brand looks American as well.
yeah, I mean, it definitely suits it. But is there a conversation to be had where you're like, well, maybe the revenue just stays here now forever and we make it as profitable as physically possible, and then we go to the States and try and get the growth there?
This is another thing where
That makes the most
having
sense to
different
me.
investors gives you variable opinions on that, but
I mean, that would make the most sense.
yeah, probably.
If you're thinking that you might have potentially realised your TAM, yeah. Because also you've got all the side.
I think we have with this current product, but there's new stuff coming that's better.
Well, the CAC that you can pay in that TAM,
Yeah.
right, and all the sidewoods products that are coming out at the minute that are also competing with you that aren't Coffee Plus or Mushroom, but they're in there. Yeah, there's a question for all brands where especially in the UK, where it gets to a point where it's like, should we not now just be, if you do some deep research into your TAM, should we not now just be trying to make it as efficient as possible in the UK and just go and actually do another market? Because you can tell me what your US tests look like, but most of the brands that I know that say we've tested the US launch a campaign in Meta, ship from England,
Yeah.
and expect that people are going to want to buy a product that takes 3 times longer to arrive.
How would you test it in our case?
With duties on top? You've got to go all in.
Yeah, because that's when
honestly, grey hat way of testing it.
that's
yeah?
the problem. Because then it's not really a test.
Yeah,
it's
but
a commitment.
a grey hat way of testing it is you could say that they're going to get it in 3 days and then just refund them.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
That is the best way to do it.
And spend a lot of money on doing it. And yeah, you're going to have some customer services and a few problems there, but ultimately that's the best way to test it. Also, just logically, will your product work in the US? Are other people making it work? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You need a 3PL. You need to go over there. You need to treat the creative the same way as you treat UK creative. Like everyone's test is setting up a campaign with UK creative, shit shipping, and a more expensive product, and it didn't work. It's not going to work. Why would I buy your product that takes 3 times as long to arrive, and I'm paying these duties? What are duties?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, why am I paying duty? I don't understand what's going on. Yeah, no one's going to buy it. It's a terrible test.
Yeah.
Your site's not US English. Like, do it properly. Send 1,000 SKUs to a 3. Like when you initially launched the brand, I launched it with 2,000.
Yeah, 3,000.
There's 3,000, right? Cool. Send 3,000 over to the US to a 3PL and launch it like you launched it here. Loads of US based creative. You've got the benefit of knowing what works in the UK. You've got the benefit of you can use a US agency, right? Who's going to be like, here's what's working. We've got experience in it, and do a proper launch. But I think there's too many brands that try to. The 5% growth that they're going to get in the UK will cost them too much in EBIT. It's not worth getting it. You may as well leave that 5% at the table, let everybody else have it, be as profitable as you can with EBIT, and go to the States.
Yeah.
Go and do it. We'll do it properly. Don't ship it from England and wonder why nobody's buying it. Bad idea.
Probably right.
Bad idea. But then again, back to what you said, opinions, I'm sure, differ on this one.
Yeah.
But I've seen it play out on both sides, and the brands that do what I've just said then realise a lot more growth because the States is massive, and more often than not becomes their biggest market because it's a bigger market. It's like common sense.
Yeah.
Especially when your product shit travels as well as yours does. Fashion's tougher, because like, do the States like the fashion the UK people wear? Maybe, maybe not. Cool. So quick fire questions. One metric you check first thing in every morning.
CAC. New customer CAC.
And CAC. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. How long do you leave it before you make decisions when it's above the threshold of where you need it to be?
Probably too long. I'd say at least a week, if not a month.
I wouldn't say that's too long. A month would be too long.
Yeah,
a week.
at least a week. At least a week, then I probably start to panic.
Yeah, because you have a lot of market stuff that goes on, right?
Yeah, also a lot of returning customers, and there's a bit more of a buffer. So,
best money you've ever spent on space goods outside of when you were paying us?
That's a good question, actually. Wow, I've not thought of
that. It is a good question.
Wow, I think, but it loads my team getting offended. I'm not saying them.
That's because it's.
I mean, I'd say in the early stage, it was just getting flow in to run operations.
Yeah.
Like simple stuff like that. I'd say now, and I hope it turns out to be true, but it's not even a lot of money. It's more just like time. It's probably just reformulating the product.
Yeah.
Making the product better.
Yeah.
I just think it's so obvious, but everyone spends years, and all the talk on Twitter is about acquisition. I just think.
It's because it's sexy.
Products is the most important thing.
The biggest needle
because it's
mover.
the one thing that moves retention, which is the one thing that allows you to spend more.
It moves everything.
So, like, if you ask why enough times, like, why is it not working? Okay, CAC's too high. Why is CAC too high? Well, because we can't afford a CAC past the actual rate it needs to be.
That?
Why can't you afford retention's too low? Why is retention too low? Oh, because we don't send enough emails. No, it's not that. Why is it actually too low? Oh, the product doesn't taste very good. Okay.
There we go.
You know, like, and you ask it again and again and again, you probably realize it's not just the flavour, it's the ingredients.
But do you know why people do all the stuff in between?
Because it's easy and sexy.
Because it's way easier.
And it's fun.
It's way easier.
Whereas, reformulating a product for 6 months is boring.
Yeah. But Sam...
And facing reality.
Sam said the exact same thing. He said product. When they reformulated their product, it changed the game for them. Yeah. So they made their product way better and it changed the game for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said he gave the exact same answer. And I think a lot of founders need to actually sit down, remove their ego.
It's painfully obvious in hindsight.
And
I really kick myself.
Ask yourself the question, would you subscribe to your product for a year? Yeah. Or would you buy those clothes? And then go away and look at products, right? And also when you're launching new stuff, launch it with a problem in mind that you're going to fix. It's like if you're a fashion brand and your margin's not great, your next product you should launch should have really good margin. Yeah. Or if...
It's meant to be quickfire.
Oh, yeah, sorry. It's supposed to be quickfire. I'm doing a you.
Yeah, exactly. I talk too much.
The D2C brand you give flowers to right now, and why? Ooh. Who do you look at?
It's a bit of a cringe statement. Like, when people say give you flowers, what do they mean? Just like give props to?
Yeah,
like,
I get them all the time.
Admire?
Yeah.
It's a good question. I would say... There's one I should say, but I'm not going to say it because they're technically a competitor.
Most overrated piece of D2C advice
in
2026. So what are you seeing a lot of people
Honestly,
say?
I would say overrated. This might be controversial, maybe because I never cracked it. It's like doing a fuckload of landing pages. I'm a big believer in just double down on a solid PDP, optimize it, and focus on your creative, because then you remove variables, especially at the start.
Yeah, at the start. I would say landing pages.
Now there's AI tools, what I'm looking at, that can like whip them up in like 10 minutes, or 2 minutes apparently, off the back of a creative.
Yeah.
But I've never cracked that.
For personas. I think you should. So go back to Mars Men, they do a lot of that.
A better answer to that question would be to nail organic content, because, and this again, maybe controversial. I've never nailed it, but B, I don't know a single mega scale brand
that
has either nailed it at all,
or
certainly focused on it. Because, and I listened to the Mars Men podcast with, I think, Zach, one of the founders, the other day, and it's so true. And I've been saying this to people for so many years, and every time I get, I don't know, an investor or someone on the team's like, oh, we've never nailed organic. Let's like focus on organic brand content.
Such a waste of time.
I'm like, even a video that gets, and I've literally seen this in other brands, they can get 20 million views and it drives one sale. Just fucking run better ads. And I'm not saying branding or content doesn't matter. I'm just saying,
no, it does matter.
People overvalue it relative to other stuff.
The ROI that they think it brings back is way overestimated in regards to what it actually does. It's required, but it's not needed.
My quickfire answers are also not helping your quickfire.
Well, I did point that out. Would you rather bootstrap to 20 mil, owning 100%, or VC to 100 mil, owning 30%?
Depends what the outcome is. What makes me more money?
I don't know the answer.
So,
if you had to pick one,
too many variables. I probably lean towards bootstrapping, but I think I also like the speed that maybe venture can help with. But again, it would depend on the outcome.
Yeah.
And also, what can I build just a bigger like market impacting brand with? Probably is the venture route.
Yeah.
Objectively, if you serve more customers with a good product, you're having a bigger impact.
Last one. If you started a brand again now, would you raise? And if you would, when?
Yeah, I would raise. At
what point? Would you get not to...
I wouldn't raise it pre-revenue.
1 to 10? No.
because then you lose, because that's the most expensive time to raise.
Okay.
Just naturally, because it's an idea. So I want to self-fund it at the start entirely. I think you should only raise when you have a genuinely good product offer and underlying economics that show a clear path to mega scale, but just cash is in the way.
Okay.
Which naturally happens with consumer businesses because you just need cash to scale them.
Yeah.
Past a certain point.
Dubai, London, where are you going to pick?
Honestly,
or even just say, you could say UK, Europe, or Dubai. If you had to live, if you had to put your flag in the ground now,
yeah. The answer for me is I have to have a bit of all of them.
Yeah.
Genuinely, it sounds like a cop out, but I've literally you will not believe the amount of time I spend in my head
thinking about this.
Not even just my head, like talking to Claude about this.
Yeah, and office versus remote.
Yeah.
You love that
office
one.
versus remote and where to live. I've debated for 10 years and I still haven't got an answer. Yeah. And the answer is
remote.
there isn't one answer.
Yeah, there is remote for sure.
Well, the remote first, but to me, yeah, that was a bit cleaner, that one. But even then, I need more in-person time than I currently have, just in general, even if it's with other founders, not necessarily my team or whatever. But yeah, the answer for me it's got to be mixed. I'm not a one place forever person.
No,
I'm
also,
just not.
Dubai's not one of those places where you can just stay. You do get Dubai.
I mean, it's August right now, and it just feels too hot.
You do get Dubai fatigue. Right?
Oh, for sure.
You need to go and see some nature. Yeah.
Yeah, but then the irony is, the grass always greener for me.
I love it.
I was in Europe for 4.5 weeks, and by the second week, I was complaining about stuff being inefficient. Like, there's always something.
Yeah, because you can't get it all, can you?
I was in Mallorca, like, a Prius Uber was 100 quid for 20 minutes. I couldn't believe it. I was like, that would be £5 in Dubai.
You could probably get a halal taxi to pick you up.
You could get a Rolls Royce to pick you up for 100 quid in Dubai.
You could get one of the taxis there off Kareem to pick you up from Mallorca and take you where you got it. It'd be cheaper.
Probably get private jet. Yeah. But yeah, the honest answer is a bit of all of them.
Yeah. Cool.
Hey guys, that's it for this week. Thanks so much for watching. If you get any value from this, please click somewhere on this video to subscribe, and please do drop a like and comment below. It helps more than you could know. I'm finally seriously trying to grow the pod for the first time in about 5 years. Any feedback on anything that you like, don't like, any suggestions or thoughts going forward, please do also drop a comment. Massively helps too, and share this with a friend. Really appreciate you guys watching and engaging, and we'll see you next week.